Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Max Story.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. So today we're going to talk about 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. And there's a lot of people making these mistakes. And ultimately, they're really not mistakes. They're a reflection of your character. People of low character, most likely they're doing these 7 things all the time and don't even realize it. And people of high character most likely are never doing these 7 things, and they don't even think about it because it's not who they are. But I've been thinking about this for a while, had it on my radar. I'm gonna write a newsletter, my Blue Collar Leadership Tips newsletter. Probably going to be the December 9th edition. I'll take what I'm doing here and turn it into a newsletter. But I'm not going to listen to this and then create the newsletter. And right now, all I have are 7 things listed out. I don't even know what I'm going to say about it. I know what I'm going to talk about, but I don't know what I'm going to say. So it's going to be the same way when I write the newsletter. It'll be kind of the same, but slightly different. But if you're looking for a job, or if you think you're ever going to be looking for a job, whether it's next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now, these tips are going to help you. And I say this all the time on social media, especially on LinkedIn. That's my main platform, LinkedIn. But I'm also on X and Facebook, some of the others. Those are the main ones that I get on. LinkedIn is the number one that I really post to consistently and relentlessly to help support those folks who are out there following me and looking for leadership nuggets on my feed. But I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and I see people pretty interesting. They got one profile on LinkedIn, and then they got another profile on Facebook. They try to appear professional on LinkedIn, and then on Facebook they just be themselves. Like somebody who's considering hiring them is not going to look at both platforms. I don't know. You just need to be authentic. And if who you are authentically turns people off, you need to be a better person so that when you're authentic, you don't turn people off. But before we get into this, let me just tell you, we got a lot of new Blue Collar Leadership merchandise. Got some pretty cool things. Ria's constantly, every week, seems like she's adding new things there. We got water bottles, backpacks. We got a lot of T-shirts, sweatshirts. A lot of them are in safety orange, safety green, even safety pink. I think I saw some shirts on there. So got some pretty cool slogans on some of them. I know one of my favorites. Ria just ordered me one, and I got it recently in the mail. I got a black one, but also got an orange one that's similar. But basically says the blue collar workforce is the backbone of America. And got a flag on it and some cool stuff like that on the back. Got the Blue Collar Leadership logo on the front, an American flag on the sleeve. Things like that. And there's some of those shirts that we can do co-branded, which means we take our top or our Blue Collar Leadership logo off the front chest and actually put your company logo on there. And then the rest of the shirts stay the same. And the water bottle, you can actually get your name printed on it. So you can check that stuff out at bluecollarleadership.com/store and just take a look. And like I say, Ria's creating new things and adding them almost weekly. There's something she adds on there, 1 or 2 items. So it'll be growing for the foreseeable future. The merchandise will be growing there. And also when you're on that link I just shared, bluecollarleadership.com/store, you'll see a lot of other things, our books and things like that. But Ria's also got a different section of the store where she's got motivational and inspirational stuff for women. We got some scripture on some of the shirts and coffee cups and things like that. So anyway, just wanted to share share with you about that if you were not aware of all of that. For those of you shopping, whether it's for Christmas or birthdays or any kind of time you would be giving someone a gift, if they're blue collar folks, I'm telling you what, it'll save you some time. Just go to the bluecollarleadership.com store, go into the blue collar leadership section there, and you'll find some pretty cool, unique things that they will like and feel proud to wear and be proud that you got them. But also it'll save you a lot of time having to go look for these folks something cool and unique that they actually might want. All right, let's dive into the 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. And I want to tell you that you've got to treat every platform like a potential employer might see it, because they will. If they're worth working for. If you're trying to get a job in a place that has a lot of leaders with high degree of character, they have a high performance team, a high performance culture, they're going to look you up. They're going to check you out. They ain't just going to look at LinkedIn. They're going to look at all the social media platforms. They may dive into YouTube, see what YouTube videos you've been liking and what kind of comments you've been leaving, all kind of things like that. But who you are matters. And every choice you make, whether it's in person or on social media, reveals your character to the world. Every choice you make, it's a little window into your character and who you are as a person. So your social media presence is absolutely part of your personal brand all the time, but especially during a job search. If you're out there looking for a job, and I see a lot of folks on LinkedIn who are, and I'm telling you what, it don't look like they're looking for a job. It may look like it on LinkedIn, but then when you see them on Facebook or X or some other platform, it doesn't look like they're looking for a job. And the way they're acting, the character they're revealing is going to ensure that they don't get a job with a great company. It's hard to believe that so many people can't understand that the choices they make reveal their character. And the good companies are ran with people who have a really high degree of character, the companies that people want to work at. So let's talk about these 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. And I'll keep reminding you of the title of this episode because I want you to remember they're mistakes, and they're also going to impact your job search. You may say, well, why does it matter? I ain't looking for a job. Well, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years from now, you might decide to look for a job, and guess what? Your social media is going to, guess what your potential leaders who are going to hire you, HR managers or recruiters, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go back in time and check out your social media. Not just last week. They may look at last month and last year and long before that. See what kind of track record you have. See what you talk about. See what you like. See what you post. All that sort of stuff. So 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. And the reason I say can instead of will is because some folks don't care. People with poor character, leaders with poor character, they're going to overlook all this stuff because they'll take anybody they can get, including people with poor character. So number 1 on this list of 7, and it's a big one for me because I can't stand to see it myself, and I ain't even looking to hire somebody, and I don't want to see it. But the number one, and these are, let me just say, these are not in sequential order. The reason it's number 1 on my list because it just irritates me to have to see it, but it's not necessarily number 1. There's no rhyme or reason into the sequence of these. I didn't create them and then sequence them. I just come up with them, and here they are, and I'm just going to talk about them. But number 1 is don't post political rants. You shouldn't be doing it anyway, unless, now, if you're looking for a job in politics, in government, politics, state, federal, local, if that's your thing, you want to be a politician, or you want to get on some social media platform, or you want to get on TV or whatever it is, and you want to talk about politics, you need to absolutely be talking about politics. If that's your career, that's your job, and I don't want to follow you if that's your job because I don't care nothing about reading about all that sort of stuff. That ain't what interests me. I just vote and carry on. Do I have a political opinion? Absolutely. You going to see me or hear me talk about it? Nope. Doesn't matter. That ain't what I'm about. I'm about personal growth, leadership development, cultural transformation, leading change, building high performance teams. That's what I'm about. So that's what I'm going to talk about. But a lot of people who are looking for jobs, they're out there. And I say this often. I follow a lot of people. A lot of people follow me. I see people. I'm on all different types of platforms. Primarily, LinkedIn is kind of my platform. But I'm gonna look the same on all of them. But I'm gonna tell you what, a lot of people who follow me, they don't look the same on all of them. They look one way on LinkedIn, another way on X, another way on Facebook. A lot of people, they try to pretend and be all professional on LinkedIn, but they say, well, Facebook or X, that's my personal platform. Okay. It still reveals your character. I see some people, they don't post nothing on their LinkedIn about politics, but you go find them somewhere else on some other social media, they talk about politics all the time. And I'm going to tell you, a high impact leader who values a high degree of character don't want a bunch of junk in their organization. They don't want to bring in people that's going to be talking politics, religion, even sports in some places. It's going to be just talking a bunch of mess to get everybody stirred up. High impact people, high character, they on a mission. They want people with high character to accomplish the mission, working with other people of high character to accomplish the mission. So they're out there looking, people of high character, they're out there looking for the folks they're going to hire, especially looking at them. See, who are they? Not who they pretend to be, but who are they? Because all these 7 things on this list reveal your character. And you're welcome to have whatever kind of character you want. I'm just trying to share some things. My goal here is to provoke thought, raise awareness for people who may not be thinking about what they're writing about, talking about, saying if they're making videos or on podcasts, who they are. A lot of the things on this list right here, when people invite me to be on a podcast, they ain't trying to hire me. They just want me to be on their podcast, talk about personal growth and leadership. A lot of times I go listen to the podcast or I go look at their social media. I want to see who they are. And if I pick up too many low character signals, which is a lot of the stuff on this list I'm talking to you about, I'll pass. I don't have to be on their podcast. I don't want to be on their podcast. I don't want to associate my character with their character. Am I going to overlook stuff or miss stuff sometimes? Absolutely. But if I see it, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm moving on. They can have some other guest and I can be a guest on somebody else's show. Or I can just talk right here on my show. I don't have to be on anybody's show. But just think about that. Don't post unless you're looking for a job in politics. You ought not be talking about politics, especially if you're thinking you're a high degree person, meaning a high degree of character, and you want to work in a really good organization. They don't value that. That's what I'm here. They don't value it. They don't want to see it. So these things, again, I'm telling you, these 7 items on this list. I title them 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. But they're actually, they reveal your character. They reveal your values. So if somebody just hears me talk about this and they say, oh, I need to clean up my stuff, I need to stop doing that. But you don't really stop being that way in life. All you're doing then is trying to manipulate somebody. You're trying to fool them. Pretend you're not this way so that they'll hire you. But when you get in there, guess what? They're going to figure out that you're not this way. And if they're a really good company, they're going to try to improve you or remove you. Meaning improve you is develop your character. Remove you is terminate you, get you out the door because you don't fit there. You don't belong there. So don't miss that. Don't just stop doing these things and still be this way, because then you're just manipulating. Same thing. You need to become the kind of person that can be authentic. And when you're being authentic, you attract people of high character. That's what I've been working on since 2008 when I discovered personal growth and leadership development content. But that's not what this is about. Not about me and my transformation. But it's about helping you, if you're looking for a job, to get a job, especially with a good company. The second item on this list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. Don't complain about your current or former employer. Not even a little bit. Nobody wants to hear it. And guess what? If I'm thinking about hiring you and I go look at your social media and you're complaining about your current employer or your former employer, guess what you're teaching me you're going to do about me at some point? If I hire you, I'll be your current employer. And if there's things you don't like, guess where you're going to talk about it? out on social media. I ain't interested. If I'm a high impact person, high degree of character, I ain't interested in hiring somebody that's got that kind of character. Now, we'll say organizations led with people of low character who can't hardly get anybody, and when they do, they can't keep them. They're going to accept anybody. They don't care what you're doing. A lot of those leaders who run those companies or hire for those companies, they're making these same mistakes right here in life that I'm talking about. You can go look at them, see their values. And I'd highly encourage you, if you're a person of high character, maybe you don't do these things I'm talking about. You don't value these things. You're thinking about going to work somewhere. You find out who's going to be interviewing you, who's going to be hiring you, maybe who you're going to be reporting to. You might want to go do a little research on your own, on their social media. See who they are and what they're about. What do they say? What do they like? What do they comment on? What do they share on one platform, not on another platform? That sort of thing. So don't complain about your current or your former employer. If you don't like working there, guess what you need to do? Grow and develop yourself, create some options, and leave. If you're not leaving and you're not liking it, it's your fault that you're there. It ain't your boss's fault. It ain't, no matter how bad they are. If you go to work there, that's your fault. You're choosing to do that. Quit complaining about them. Look in the mirror and say, why do I keep working there? I got bills. Okay, why you got bills? Or why can't you get a job someplace else? If you don't like where you're working, get a job someplace else. But if you're doing these 7 things I'm talking about today, you're probably going to have a hard time getting a job someplace else. That's worth working for. All I'm about is looking in the mirror and taking responsibility, folks. This episode's got a lot of leadership truth in it. Folks who don't want to hear it, they probably already done chose to turn it off. So if you're still listening, I appreciate it. This may be one you want to share with your team, with your family members, children. If you got working age children, help them stop shooting themselves in the foot. Understand how this stuff reveals their character. The third thing on this list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. Number 3, don't post about being bored at work or even bored in life for that matter. Don't post about hating Mondays, loving Fridays, how much you need a new job. You know what all that says about you? You're disengaged at the current job. If you're talking about being bored in life, you're disengaged at life. Who's in control of your life? You. Who's in control of your job? You. If you're working somewhere you hate Mondays and love Fridays, why are you working at that place? First of all, you're just being negative. High impact people don't want to hire negative people. But you're also communicating, I don't lead my life well. I can't even develop myself to a point that I can get a job in a place I actually want to work. And this list of things right here, some people do all of these. Don't even realize they're doing it. Definitely don't realize the damage it's doing. And then there's some people that would never do any of these because they have a high degree of character. They don't even have to think about not doing them. They just wouldn't do them because that's who they are. So I'm trying to help you understand the difference. But at the same time, I want you to see the damage it does to your job search when you're on social media. Spewing all this silliness is what I call it. There's a waste of effort. But some people value this stuff. That's what they do. That's fine. They would never work on my team, and I don't want to work with them. I wouldn't want them to be on my team. Whether I'm the leader or I'm a team member, it doesn't make any difference. I don't want these kind of people. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of this stuff, maybe all of these, I used to be guilty of all this before I learned how to be better. All right, number 4. The 4th item on this list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. Number 4, don't lie about your experience or skills. Sounds simple, but people do it all the time. Had a VP tell me one time about they hired somebody in the construction business and the guy told him he could do this and that and all this sort of stuff. And he checked all the boxes and everything. The guy hired him. And when he got in there, he couldn't do some of the things he said. Some of the important things he said. Couldn't do them at all, some of them. And the other ones couldn't do them well enough to be hired for the job. The person had lied about it. What's that say about your character? It's teaching people, even if they forgive you, kind of, they teach you how to do it. And maybe you just lied to get the job. You say, I'll learn when I get there, or I'll get fired, but at least I'll be getting paid and I'll have a chance. That's weak, poor character. But let's say you get hired in there and you fool them, or somebody fools them. They get hired in there, and the folks are really good, so they try to improve them before they remove them. So they start developing them to do the job, and maybe they do. And maybe they keep the person. But what that person has taught that leader is, I lie to you to get what I want. I will lie to you to get what I want. I lie to anybody to get what I want. That's what number 4 does. So no reason to be lying out there on social media about your experience or your skills or on your resume or in an interview. People of high character don't do that. Now, people of low character, they do it all day. You get to decide who you want to be and how you want to be. I don't want nothing to do with this list. In the past, I would do some of these things. I don't know if I would ever have done that one, number 4. I don't know if I ever lied about my experience or skills. That don't ring a bell. Some of these on here do, but that one doesn't. If I couldn't do something, I'd just say, no, I can't do it. But a lot of people, I used to work with a guy in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s. I call it, I used to tell him to his face he was a pathological liar. He lied about anything and everything all the time. Stuff there was no reason to even be lying about it. He had to lie about it. So there's no doubt he would lie about his experience and his skills. We didn't have social media back then, but if we would have, he'd been lying about it. Number 5 on the list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. And the reason I say can again, instead of tank, will, because I could have said 7 social media mistakes that will tank your job search, but I used the word can instead of will. And the reason is, there's a lot of low impact, low character people that'll hire people that do all this stuff I'm telling you about. So it ain't going to tank your job search relative to getting hired by poor leaders in a poor organization. They'll take whoever they can get whenever they can get them. That's just who they are. Number 5 on the list. Don't leave old embarrassing photos or posts public. Better yet, don't make them. Don't be in the embarrassing photo. If you ain't in the embarrassing photo, if you ain't in a position to be embarrassed by a photo, guess what? There won't be a photo ever. There won't be one anybody's going to find. Post you might have made. Get rid of that junk. Now, there's things on the computer. I don't know if they still have. Used to be something I think called the waybackmachine.com or waybackmachine.com, something like that. And there's probably still maybe that and some other things, but you basically can go back in time and take a snapshot of the internet and see whatever was on the internet that day. So people can go back and look at your history years ago. You might have deleted your Facebook social media account 2 years ago. Well, somebody can go back and look at your Facebook account 3 years ago and see exactly what it looked like back then. You don't get to get rid of that stuff. Pretty interesting. A lot of people, though, they don't know what they don't know, and you can deleting stuff. It gets rid of it for the folks who don't really know how to look for stuff, but the people who do is out there, and it's really, really easy to find. You just got to know the tips and the tricks to go do it. You ain't got to be some internet sleuth to go do it. You just got to know pretty much what website to type in, how to put a date in a computer, and then how to go look for somebody. It's pretty wild. But you got to remember, everything you post everywhere is revealing your character. It's revealing your values. It's painting a picture of who you are on the inside to everybody who's on the outside. And if you're looking for a job, especially if you really, really need a job, you definitely don't need to be doing these things. If you in dire need of a job, get yourself squared away. Develop your character, live it, model it, don't fake it. So that you'll be appealing to people who want to hire good people who're not going to cause a bunch of problems and issues when they get on the team. Number 6 on this list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. Number 6, and I say this, oh man, it's everywhere. Don't argue or get into intellectual battles in the comment sections. On LinkedIn, Facebook, X, YouTube, doesn't make any difference. Stay away from it. Don't get in there arguing about it. You follow my social media, you'll notice I don't do a lot of I don't try to do a lot of teaching through my comments. If someone kind of understands what I'm talking about and maybe they're asking a question, I may share some information, or if they make a good comment because they're aligned with it, I may add another good comment. But someone's totally against it. I've already learned a long time ago. It's hard enough to teach leadership in a room, face to face with somebody, in person. It's almost impossible if they on the other side of the fence through a comment. So I ain't getting into that stuff. I ain't getting into an intellectual battle. But then there's also trolls. You probably heard of trolls. They go out and just try to instigate folks to get into these battles. They don't even care. They just look for something to say the opposite or try to get under somebody's skin. And I ain't playing that game. You don't need to play that game. All it does is reveal your character. The things you say, the words you use, how you talk to people, how you talk about people, all the stuff you do when you get into some intellectual battle. Even if you're right, even if you 100% right. And that's what I discovered a long time ago. Comment section ain't a place for teaching. I'm going to teach through my books, through my podcast, my post, but I ain't getting in these battles. Try to prove you right, I'm right. It doesn't matter. I'm aligned with leadership principles, timeless, tested, proven. This stuff ain't right because Mac's right. It's right because it's right, and I just happen to be aligned with it. And if you think gravity ain't real, that's between you and gravity. I ain't got nothing to talk to you about. It's kind of like that. If I said something about gravity, somebody made a comment about gravity ain't real, and then I get into some battle trying to prove to them gravity is real. See, everybody can understand that, and they'd be like, why would you get in there? They were just being stupid. That's the way it is with most all topics. If you know, you know. And then if you don't know, you probably met. There's some people that if they don't know, you can't tell them. So the comment section ain't a place to tell them. All right? And again, it's going to leave a track record of who you are and how you operate. Number 7 on the list of 7 social media mistakes that can tank your job search. Some people going to choose to be offended by this one. It's okay. I'm going to love them anyway. I ain't going to judge them. I don't care if they do it or they don't do it. I'm just helping you understand it matters. Number 7, don't use profanity. You're welcome to, but it reveals your character. High impact people of high character, they ain't looking for a bunch of folks running around spouting profanity. They may not even want it in their organization. They may not even want it on their team. Some people value it at that level. So Chick-fil-A was a client of ours for about 3 years. And we eat at a lot of Chick-fil-A stores. I love their spicy biscuits for breakfast. But talking about using profanity, I don't ever recall hearing any Chick-fil-A team members using profanity. They may do it outside their organization, but they don't seem to do it inside the organization. Do they do it sometimes? Probably because they're people. But I've never experienced it. And I've been in a bunch of Chick-fil-A's. I don't see them using profanity to talk to each other behind the counter, to make jokes with people or anything. But I've been in some other fast food restaurants, and you definitely see it and you definitely hear it. Sometimes you hear it when you pull up at the drive-thru. You can hear them talking to each other, and they'll be using profanity in there. And they got jobs. So that's what I'm saying. You can get a job with companies if you use profanity. But Chick-fil-A is a really good company. And if you go spouting a bunch of profanity on your social media and in person, probably ain't gonna get that job with Chick-fil-A. I don't see them valuing that from the people that they're hiring, the way they want to model who they are, what they're about, and what their values are, that sort of thing. So it's just something to keep in mind as you going down this journey. If you're in a job search mode, first of all, you need to stop doing all this stuff because you're shooting yourself in the foot. Second of all, you need to grow and develop yourself where you don't want to be doing this stuff. Not that you're just hiding it, because again, you don't want to be manipulating people. That doesn't build trust. That creates distrust. When you create distrust, your influence goes down. When you build trust, your influence goes up. All these things I talk about on my other podcasts. Hope you got some value out of today's episode. Just wanted to, again, provoke thought, raise awareness. I just see so many people shooting themselves in the foot, and they need a job. And they appear to be doing a lot of things to make sure they don't get a job. Not with at least not with the good companies. All right. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.